So I talk about synchronicities, and when we follow our intuition, we see things in our lives fall into place. I wanted to give you an example in my own life. I have plenty of them that I've shared here on TikTok, but here's one that is really close to my heart. So I'm participating in a sleep out event to raise awareness for youth homelessness, and that is happening on November 16th. I created a Facebook event. I created an event on the Sleep Out website. So if you go there and search Anna Kranz on the Sleep Out, you can join and donate. I created the event on Facebook and I shared it on social media. And that night, when we were sitting down before bed, I was just about to talk to my husband about it. He had not seen the post yet, and we hadn't talked about it. But as we're sitting there, my 4-year-old son walks over to a book that has been on our bookshelf for a long time. This book has significant meaning for me because growing up, I would go out to this brunch restaurant, and the paintings of the artwork of the book were on the wall at this restaurant. And it was just a special place for me because I'd always go with my grandparents and our family, and it was just a really special time for all of us to be together. And I just remember being at that restaurant and I loved seeing this artwork. So this is why I bought the book. And I didn't realize at the time that there was a book and a story behind all of these images. And so when I found this book at a thrift store, I was ecstatic to find out that each of these images had a story behind it. So typically before bed, if we're reading a book, we have books in my son's bedroom. And this particular night, he ran over to the counter and grabbed it off the shelf. And we don't typically read this book together. So actually, we've never read this book together. So it was very random that he went and grabbed this particular book. And he was like, oh, I want to read one from here. So I said, okay, and I just kind of randomly opened it up and flipped to a page. And it was like, oh, let's pick one. But, I stopped on one and I ended up just picking that one because I saw pumpkin. And it is fall, so it made sense. So I just started reading it out loud. I had not read that one yet, so this was brand new for me and for my family. What hit me halfway through, I started tearing up because I had shared this event and this post about raising awareness for youth homelessness. And this particular story was about St. Jean, and she is known for helping the homeless. And my husband was like, why are you crying, kind of thing. And I told him he should go check out my Facebook and see what I had just created and shared on my Facebook. And it's just those type of synchronicities that happen that let me know that I'm on the right path, that I am doing what I'm intended to be doing, and ultimately for the greater good. And it feels good, and it is confirming, and it just gives me hope. So I'm going to read this story if you want to hang on for a little bit longer. So this is the book. It is Simple Acts of Faith, and they are heartwarming stories of one life touching another, and the artwork is by Norman Rockwell. St. Jean. We are cups constantly and quietly being filled. The trick is knowing how to tip ourselves over and let the beautiful stuff spill out. And side note, one of my other TikToks I recently shared was all about filling up your cup and what we fill it with. Nearly 20 years ago, Jean Webster was heading to work when she saw a man digging through the old dumpster for food. Moved by the scene, she bought the alcoholic a cheeseburger and invited him to her home after work for a full meal. She told the man named John he was welcome to stop by every day for food, and he did. Before long, he wasn't alone. John's friends began tagging along, and before Jean knew it, she had a line of hungry people waiting outside her door. Each day, Webster made sure everyone, even when the tally reached into the hundreds, had something to eat. She served the downtrodden out of her own pocket by herself, often sacrificing the money for her own heart medicine to buy food. After 15 years, the news of Webster's service spread, and the leaders of several area churches founded the Friends of Jean Webster. A commercial kitchen was built in an old church, and countless volunteers were inspired to serve because of one woman's compassion toward the homeless. Today, the 67-year-old African-American known as St. Jean to the community still serves meals to more than 600 people 5 mornings a week. And it says, "Happy is the generous man, the one who feeds the poor," from the book of Proverbs. So, God is all around. Just have to look.